So this chapter, we're going to try to think like a grandmaster here, right? And when we say think like a grandmaster, there's a lot of things that grandmasters do. But mainly what they do is basically simplify everything, right? So whether that is when it comes to material, when it comes to forcing lines. And what we're going to look at right now is just how to calculate forcing lines really quickly. So let's get into this position here. So in this position is black to move, right? And we just have to calculate mainly one line, right? It's literally pushing the pawn forward, right? So if you calculate a5, h4, a4, h5, a3, h6, a2, right? This is easy stuff, right? So we've only played about, here we go. Played about 6 moves here. So we saw 6 moves deep, right? So that's easy enough, right? So now let's just add some queens on the board, right? So if we add queens on the board here, right, now does that change the position at all? Well, if we look, these queens are pinned to their respective kings. So we don't have to worry about outside queen moves like queen c2 check or queen g8 check, right? We don't have to worry about those kind of checks here, right? So if we start out with the move a5, we just calculated in the last position, right? Our pawn is going to be able to beat their pawns. We calculated that already. But we didn't calculate, well, now we have queens on the board. So now we also have to consider, what about a possible queen trade? That's another forcing move here, right? So takes, a5. Does that change? Our pawn is still going to beat their pawn, so that doesn't change that. So we don't have to really calculate that position anymore. We already have that one down. So now we have to look at the king moves, right? Is this king able to catch this pawn at some point, right? So let's see, right? King e3, a3, king d2, a2, king c2, and as we can see, the king is not in time to catch this pawn here. But what we just did, we took it a step further, right? We calculated one forcing line previously, but now we've calculated 2 forcing lines.